Hello everyone, we're Team Milk Tea. I'm Bunny.
I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Ting.
I'm Serene.
I'm Tony.
And our dress code is the color of milk tea. And let's start our presentation. And today we are going to introduce addiction to internet and electronics.
You can use the pointer.
Why is this problem so important? Because we found that most of the people did not realize that they have fallen into this trap, and which is hard to get rid of it. And the internet is so convenient that some people may lose themselves in this complicated world. By conducting this survey, we hope that people can understand the consequences of internet addiction. And we think the survey can show some cultural and sexual differences among it. And we divided our content into 3 parts. First part, Ryan is going to introduce the interviewees' personal information like ages and nationality, sexuality, and their ages. And the second part, rest of them are going to show you our results and explain the graph. And the third part, I'm going to tell you some fun facts and conclude the presentation.
I will introduce our interviewers. The following 4 interviewees are from Asia. The first one is Michelle from Indonesia and Akira from Japan. This one is Anna from Vietnam. Oh, by the way, I look so handsome in this photo. And Rika from Japan. And the following 2 interviewees are the American. They are James and Robert. And the following few interviewees are from South America. They are Ron from Belize and Maria from Honduras. And Cindy from Belize, and the most special is only 16 years old now. He's a gracekeeper. And Alan from Mexico. These 2 guys are from Europe. Jonah from Germany and Nurola from Turkey. This pie chart shows the sexuality of our interviewers. As you can see, we are trying to balance both gender. And this shows the distribution of our interviewers' age. And most of our interviewers are between 18 and 20. It is the department and astrological sign and nationality.
Okay, and the next part will be survey questions. In this part, we will introduce the answers of the interviewees, and we will compare the difference between each interviewees and analyze why is this situation happens. And so the first question is, did you ever use your phone while walking, driving, or riding? In this question, 75% of people vote yes, and only 25% of people vote no. For the people who vote yes, we have asked them if they would try to stop it, stop doing this behavior, and most people said yes they would, but there are few people like 2 or 3, they will not stop doing this because they think they have already used to do this and it's hard to change for them. And the second question is, which activities did you spend more time on it when using smartphone? Is it study or entertainment? In this question, there are 60% of people vote for entertainment, and a quarter of people vote for study, And also there are 15% of people say that they spend the same time on study and entertainment when using smartphones. And in this question, we have also get a interesting perspective. Some interviewees told us that they have they think a laptop or computer is for study and smartphones are for entertainment. So it can explain why we have the percentage of entertainment is so high in our survey. For question 3, the question is, which one do you prefer? Is it online chatting or face-to-face chatting? In this question, we have 80% of people vote face-to-face and only 10% of people prefer online chatting. Also, there are 10% of people think that it should depend on the situation. In this question, we have also get a special answer from an interviewee. He told us that he thinks it's not really important to think it's online chatting or face-to-face chatting because he thinks that no matter what kind of the type of the conversation goes, if it communicates successfully, it doesn't matter.
And question 4, do you make friends online and even meet them in real life? 45% of people said yes, and including one who said he'd do it only for dates. And 55% of people said no. And interestingly, all Taiwanese we interviewed are in this category, which is, I think, it is because Taiwanese is more conservative. And question 5, which social media do you use most frequently? The number one social media option is Instagram, accounts for 45%. And the second one is Facebook, accounts for 33%. And this outcome is out of our assumption because we thought people from different countries may use different kind of social media, but the fact is not. And I guess it is because they are already fit in Taiwanese social media life. And number 6, how many times do you check your social media in an hour? And about 80% of people check it less than 5 times, and 20% check it more than 6 times. And all of them are from Asia. And number 7, how long do you spend on social media per day? And 60% of people use less than 3 hours. And we computed that the average time they use is 3.2 hours. That is 1/8 of a day. So it's a huge number. But some people told us they just stay online and they wouldn't check it frequently. So the real number may not be this huge. And number 8, will you spend a lot of time and effort to make your social media profile look fantastic? And 25% of people said yes, and 75% of people say no. And those who say yes are all from Asia and are all females. So in comparison with Western, maybe Asian girls cares more about their appearance and their photos. And I want to share this. One interview in this category said he doesn't care how he looks like on social media because he thinks the true meaning of social media is to share your lives, your happiness. Neither pretty photos nor likes you get is important.
For question number 9, when you are disconnected from the internet, what would you do? Are you okay with this condition? We can see from the pie chart, people who think this condition is okay and people who will be anxiety is 60-40. And people always do some later activities such as reading, exercising, and sleeping when disconnected. According to our survey, we found that Eastern people are more dependent on electronic devices or internet. So we will be more anxiety or restless when we are when we are disconnected. And Eastern and Western people are more okay with this condition. They can do other activities with ease. So it's what we find the most differences between Western and Eastern. For question number 10, for you, which addiction is more harmful or scarier, internet addiction or drug addiction? More than 80% of people think drug addiction is more harmful because drug can claim one's lives, but still have 15% of people think internet addiction is more scarier. Mostly people with internet addiction are not conscious of that such behavior is an addiction, so they won't seek help. Additionally, in modern world, we are more easily to be exposed to internet compared with drug. So if we can use it properly, it will be a disaster. For question number 11, if your friend is a smartphone addict, how will you help him or her? 75% of people choose to help, and still a quarter of people will ignore it. Most people say they will hang out with their friends and do some outdoor activities to distract their attention from electronic devices. And one of our interviewees gave us an insightful ideas. He says if we want to remind our friends that he or she spend too much time on electronic devices, we should convey ourselves more tactfully or use a humorous way. Sometimes, although having good intention, but if we use the wrong way and make our friends think humiliated or insult, the result will be regrettable. For question 12, do you think electronic devices can enhance efficiency or study or learning? More than 90% of people think yes, electronic devices can enhance efficiency. But people who against this argument think electronic internet just makes people lazy. Convenience is an advantage, but is the reason why easy copy, easy pass is so prevalent. Still, another people says we always think we can learn more and learn best by internet, but actually it's difficult for us not to checking our cell phones or browsing internet or browsing social medias with internet. So the impact of internet is more powerful than we expected.
Okay, question number 13. How do you feel when your phone is about to run out of power? We can see from the pie chart that the percentage of is okay is like when phone is running out of power is slightly larger than feeling anxious. What's more, in our survey, we found that people feel the stressful feeling becomes even greater when it relates to their work. Next, have you ever stayed up late playing video games with friends and made you absent-minded the other day? The pie chart depicts that most of people don't stay up late playing video games at night. The interesting thing is that among those who play video games late at night are all boys and they all play online games. Question 15. Have you ever had physical symptoms just because you overuse those electronics? Are teens as foreigners whether they have physical symptoms because of using electronic devices? People who have experienced uncomfortable account 60% of the chart. One of them even suffered from a weird disease called trigeminal neuralgia, 三叉神经痛, If you are interested in what it is, you can Google it later. Okay, the last one. How do you feel when someone leaves negative comments under your post? Will it affect your mood? After asking this question, we have a conclusion that most of people have never received negative comments, so they have no idea how they will feel about it. However, in my opinion, the comments on the internet is terrible because it can easily change people's mind, and the comments you make also affects how other people view you at the same time.
During our interview, we observed some fun facts, and I want to share with you. And the first one is for the privacy. Most of the Western students are a little bit reluctant to tell us about their ages or their birthday. And when we are asking for taking a picture with them, they will more care about where will we use it. But for the Eastern students, few of them may refuse to answer our question, and they are not really care about where will we use. And for the details, Western students are more willing to tell us more details and try to help our report to be more complete. And in our interview, even one interviewee Googled a sentence for us to tell us that he used the cell phone. But for Eastern students, when we ask for a yes/no question, most of them just answer with yes or no. So the time of the interview is much shorter than the Western students. And for conclusion, the internet and the electronic devices are definitely good for the society, while the improper use of it may lead to addiction and even threaten our lives. Through our survey, we can see people know the consequences of internet addiction. However, most of the people will not change it until something bad happens, as we can see the result in the question 1. They think using the phone when walking or riding is so dangerous and they try to stop it, but we can still see some people doing it on the street. Internet addicts do know how bad the behavior is, but they just can't quit it either. We think internet addiction is so serious since people have this kind of conflicts. Nowadays, the phenomenon is getting more and more, and we think it is time for us to face up the problem and try to change it immediately. This is for our presentation, and thanks for listening. And it is Q&A part. Do you have some questions?
So feel free to ask questions or make comments. Can we start with maybe the second team? All right, yeah, Harry.
How do you prepare for the presentation like oral? Do you practice together?
For the first time we practice together is this Monday, and we just check our contents together in Chinese to know that our content is clear and is complete. And the Tuesday night we use our line to voice talk, and we practiced in one time, and today is our presentation. Thank you.
So others about the third and the fourth teams? Questions or comments, or you can also ask about anything related to the presentation.
Is there any difficulty during you guys finding the foreigners to answer your question?
Because we interviewed these interviewees in Friday afternoon, so it is a little bit hard for us to find foreigners in the campus. So when we see the foreigners, we just chase after them. And one of the interviewees we found is we chase them in the elevator and go to another floor. And we see a lot of foreigners in the classroom, so we just waited until after their class, and a lot of foreigners comes out and we interview them.
Good. Any others? One more question or comment? So I'm just curious. So, do the foreign students, do they make any comments on the internet use of Taiwanese? Do they say something like maybe the Taiwanese people are using the internet too much?
No, they didn't tell us that part.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm just asking. All right. So then, thank you very much.